We ended the last episode off the back of a fairly brutal mistake. The only mistake that I've made in this series to date, but it was a major mistake in accidentally trading Teuvo Teravainen when I am not allowed to. Now, I left it up to you guys as far as what the punishment was going to be. Whether or not I have to give up this number one pick that we acquired, whether or not I'm not allowed to pick, picks in the future. There were so many different options. Whether or not we have to reacquire Teuvo Teravainen, which would be a very expensive endeavor, especially if you look at his value and the fact that Vegas don't want to trade him. It's a little bit rough. However, the majority of the comments were saying, it's only one mistake. Leave it at that. Which I have to admit, it's nice in thought, in theory. However, I think I need to impose some sort of punishment, right? I have to give up something. So we will be holding on to that number one pick. However, I think I am going to at least try to reacquire Teuvo Teravainen, and there's no real guarantee that that it's gonna happen. I don't know. It's really weird. There were a couple of suggestions as well as far as what we could do. I'm still so torn on this. You know what it is, really? I'm still upset at myself for making that mistake. I really am. Normally, I am aware enough to not make a mistake like that. However, here we are. That said, Markus Nutivaara. There was some discussion over whether or not I should be allowed to trade him. Maybe that's my punishment, is that I have to hold on to him. I wouldn't totally be against that. We do also have, of course, as you would have seen, numerous picks that we can use. 2 other first-round picks this year. As far as getting rid of picks this year, though, that's not really all that punishing for me. Let's just pull the Band-Aid off first and foremost, and we are going to draft Tommy Ludman because, of course, we are. This is how the mistake happened in the first place, was us trading up to get who could be the next Teemu Selanne. So Tommy Ludman, welcome aboard. 83 overall at 18 years old. Oh boy. Well, thank God the people weren't on board with immediately letting go of you, because that would have been disastrous. Look at that shooting category for an 18-year-old. Good Lord. He had 38 points in 59 games. Eat your heart out, Capo Caco. 14 points on the power play. Tommy Ludman's here. Now, again, as far as what we do from there, because it just wouldn't feel right to me not having there be further punishment. Now, Samu Aluhi here is also looking pretty damn good, even for a medium top 6 potential. And the original plan would have been to acquire him, no doubt about it, because from there on out, we really don't have that many options. There's no way Antti Voutilainen here is actually going to be that good. Again, if someone's down in the 300 for scout ranks, they're never as good, even if the potential is a guarantee. The only real person I'd go for in this draft is Luhi, and the rest I would get rid of. So it's not as much of a punishment, except for this one medium starter goalie here who might not be that bad, being 17 years old. It's not really that much of a punishment for me to have to give up those draft picks, right? We'd be giving them up anyway. However, the one way to make it a punishment would be to not get anything back all that decent, to not get anything decent back for them. To just have it be, oh no, I can't trade down to next year. I have to give them up. I'm so torn on what to do here, but I'll tell you what, because I want this to go by quickly. Part of me is like, you know what, screw it. The people let you off the hook with the most liked comments. Just go for it. Just let it be. Let it be a mistake. But the other part of me is like, man, that's a cop-out. That's what it is. I am going to see if I can reacquire Teuvo Teravainen. It's going to be extremely expensive, but that is okay. And I think I would try to give up Nutivaara to get it done. Just so that, we'd have a really young defense. I understand the situation as far as like, oh, hey, Nudivara, it kind of would be a punishment to have to keep him, but so be it. It's, We also have the 25th pick in the draft. All right, Marcus, you can stay for the moment. The right thing against the wrong thing, and is there even such a thing in this instance? Luhi would be, if I wanted to safely get him. St. Louis, would you like to trade your pick? You wouldn't, but that's okay. Because, damn it, who the hell was franchise? Rantanen. That makes sense. I know you wouldn't prefer to trade that pick. I know. But, methinks you will. 2 first-rounders. I can't believe you. Quite far off in value. The joys of trying to do anything in terms of trading up when teams don't want to trade up. Gotta love it. Here, take my 2nd-round pick as well, please. Thank you, St. Louis. I'm gonna trade up to get Luhi as well. And we'll take it from there. I don't know what I'm going to do this episode. I really don't. But Samu Luhi, who has ridiculous grades, Backstrom comparison, let's take him. 81 overall. Jesus Marian Hossa. That is absolutely outrageous. That is just stupid. Because we've had some pretty poor luck in terms of high caliber Finnish players that have been on the team, or that have been on, that have been available in the draft, essentially. Teuvo Teravainen, I kind of want to get you back, because I wasn't supposed to get rid of you. So technically, if I get Teuvo back, he's still on the roster. I technically traded him, but if I get him back, does that justification work for you? For those who feel like I do, that I should totally have to have some sort of goddamn punishment for this? I don't even know if I could get this to go through. I'm going to try. Rejected. That's not surprising. There was a proposed deal of losing my 1st-round pick next year. We also have Chicago's. I don't think I'm against that necessarily. I guess it depends on whether or not I can get this deal to go through. Otherwise, you know what? What if I retain salary on Nudivara? I'm allowed to trade him, but is that punishment enough? Retaining salary on Nudivara? Is that good enough to satisfy myself in terms of, and that's the only, in terms of, oh shit, we actually can't retain salary on anybody else right now. Well, there goes that. Also, I'm never going to use the term satisfying myself again. However, I feel like we need to get Teuvo back, even though we technically don't really need him, do we? We technically don't really need him, but my God, that 3rd line would be absolutely outrageous. I'll give up a 1st-round pick next year. And I'm going to give up Chicago's because we're going to be a playoff team next year. So I feel like there would be a better chance of that being a higher pick. It's just whether or not I can get this to go through. So my punishment is going to be not trading down with these picks, but, giving up Nudivara, probably, and seeing if I can get this to go through to reacquire Teuvo Teravainen, and there we go. So Teuvo's back. I gave up Nudivara, the 1st-round pick from Chicago next year, and I think 2/3 or something. I don't even know what I just gave up, but Teuvo was back. We gave up a 1st-round pick to Vegas, so at the end of the day, we trade up to get who we want. We still have Teuvo Teravainen. We move Nudivara, which we were allowed to, and now I think that we're just about even with where I want to be. Who's a rebuilder right now aside from Vegas? The Bruins. You know what? Is that Morgan Riley? It probably is. Might be Mike Riley. I won't even help the Bruins. That's part of my punishment. I'll help Detroit. You know what, Detroit? Here you go. Have a bunch of stuff for free. You go ahead. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Because, damn it, I deserve this. I deserve this. I am going to just empty the floodgates of picks. You have all of it, Detroit. Merry Christmas. Probably gave you too many draft picks, but that's okay. And we'll send a little bit to Minnesota as well. No trading down, except to pick up a 7th next year from me. Minnesota, enjoy those draft picks. We're done with this draft. So at the end of the day, we do get the pick that we wanted at the top of the draft. We also get another half-decent Finn. We reacquire Teuvo Teravainen. I move Nudivara. I get rid of a first-round pick next year, and all my extra picks for this year are gone to rebuilding teams. I think I feel better because I easily could have just used those picks to trade down to get second-rounders for next year. So there, I think we're good. I have to give up a lot to get Teuvo back, and yeah, I miss out on a lot of extra draft picks for next year. I think we're going to call it good. I think we're going to call it fair. I feel a little bit better than I would have had I just been like, nope, yeah, I agree with you. Let's walk away without a punishment. Like, nah, that I don't think I could have lived with myself on that one. I needed to do something dumb to counteract my previously dumb move of trading Teravainen. From now on this frickin' Word document, I will never type just the name of the first name of the player. I'll type out Teravainen. Speaking of which, I'm going to add him back to the list. In capital letters, all caps, Teuvo Teravainen. So we'll never make that mistake again. We will re-sign our scouting staff, and let's see what we can do here now in terms of the re-sign phase and whether or not we're going to have to deal with any loyalty picks or not. So goaltending-wise, we know Ranta's going to go for now. Laakso is up to an 80. And in fairness, I'm going to let go of Vehviläinen and Makiniemi, and we're going to see who's available on the free agent list. I would prefer, obviously, to not start Laakso. We obviously gave up the other half-decent goaltender in that initial deal to trade up. So the goalie situation has taken a drastic turn for the worse. Kervainen needs a new deal. Kuka needs a new deal. Renainen needs a deal. Or Renanen, I guess. Although, I think, and again, it's the question of whether or not I want to keep him to keep the AHL strong. Kervainen, at the very least, needs a new deal. There will not be a loyalty spin because he's an RFA, although he wants a 6-year contract. So I don't think I'm ever going to have to worry about a loyalty spin for him. We kind of made that agreement, much like we did with the Hurricane series, where I think as long as they're an RFA, we're not going to worry about it. But that's tough because if I give him a 6-year deal, there's a decent chance of me getting rid of him. Again, weaker rules and guidelines in this series to just avoid me having the ability to just sign players and flip players instantly, right? With Kervainen, I might do the whole loyalty option. It's only 3 years for Kuka as well. You know, I think we're going to do that whole option here. I don't know why the hell he wants a 6-year deal, but that is extremely damaging. I do have to wonder. What would that go down to with the old 85% trick? 3378. Basically 3379. Oh boy, buddy. The good thing is I'm not limited to Carolina Hurricanes rules, so you know, let's talk about, say, a 1-year deal instead, because I'm not sure about how much better you're going to get. So how about $3 million? Maybe not. How about like 2.35 for 1 year? Because I don't know if you're going to get that much better. And if you do, then I'm going to regret this. But I'm going to try to play it safe with that offer. Kuka, same thing. I'm going to try to play it a little bit safe and let's not give you a lot of term. That would be our 6, right? Actually, God, we need another defenseman now, though, don't we? Actually, no, that would be our 6. Never mind. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with Honka. Peltonen needs to be signed, which means one defenseman has to go. It's going to be Sami Niku. And we are going to sign Peltonen to his ELC. Hate to say it, Anthony Honka is getting dropped for now. I might just drop everybody there, but I got to be honest, with these 79 rateds, they are going to be worth keeping around just to have that AHL squad be strong. So we'll sign them all to 1-year contracts and have the Helsinki Hawks actually have a pretty strong defense. So we'll do it that way. Honka might be brought back. I want to see who else is available. Forward-wise, Bradley Lambert. Right now, I am going to want to sign him for as long of a deal as I can. He wants a 5-year deal. That I would be okay with. 6.725 mil, 85% brings that down to about 5.75. Technically, I could go a little bit lower, but we'll see if that goes through. If it does, might have to loyalty spin on that. Again, right now it sucks because this was supposed to be like, okay, I'm gonna mess around with the idea of having, kind of guidelines to flipping players, and then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, here's the Hurricane series with a shitload of rules. And I like the way that series is going because of said rules, so it's a little bit of a weird spot to be in. Arturi Lehkonen needs a new deal, and I guess it's a question of whether or not I sign Ludman, which I pretty much have to. So that is technically 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 with Koivula. Then Lamico, Repo, Koivunen, Nurmi, 5 with Palmu. Yeah, I can pretty much afford to sign everybody. So Matinen, we'll sign you to an ELC. This dude, we have to release. He was a part of the Tavo deal. Saku Manalainen, you will stay. About a 1-year deal, though. I'll give you a little bit of extra money. Ratanen's not that great, but he can be decent for the AHL squad, and it's pretty much all these guys are going to be. Mika Salamaki, keep you for a year. Alexis Sarela, we'll keep you for an extra season. Petrus Palmu, at the very least, we'll have some half-decent call-up options as well. Marcus Nurmi, none of these guys, of course, have any value, so we don't really have to worry about, like, oh, how loyal do we have to be? They're not worth anything. Koivunen, Sebastian, Repo, Juho Lamico, and we're pretty much good outside of, well, actually Koivula, who wants a little bit more money. Methinks you're being just a tad bit greedy, Mr. Koivula. So you can go to the free agent list for now, because I'm not even going to deal with you. This dude, of course, I think we're going to sign him as well. I mean, I think we're going to be playing 2 rookies at the NHL level this season. And Donskoy, what are you looking for? 1.8. 1-year deal, though, so I'm all right with that. Guess that's the main thing. I'll even pay you a little bit more for the fact that you're not asking for term. I appreciate it. And Lehkonen will go up to 2.75 because technically we have $37 million in cap space and need somebody to take up some of that. So we'll move forward and see what we're dealing with. We'll probably have a lot of scouts accepting contract renewals. Matinen signs, Ludman signs, Lamico rejected. Anybody else going to reject? Donskoy rejected, even though I offered to pay him more than what he was asking for. Kervinen rejected, and that might be the last one. Yes, it is. Only 3 rejections out of all of that. Pretty good odds. And again, with Lambert, he's the one where I'm really tempted to kind of have there be a loyalty spin, even though he's an RFA. Kervinen is dead set on that multi-year contract, but I will be willing to pay him a decent amount more just to be here for 1 year until we see what the defense is shaping up to be. And then forward-wise, Donskoy, again, same thing. We have that extra money to spend, so give you a little bit more to potentially even be a healthy scratch this year. We'll see. And Juho Lamico, let's give you basically a max offer. And we should be good. At least I hope. And then the big question is whether or not we have any interesting free agents, because that could be a thing. Of course, Lamico still rejected, Donskoy still rejected, but Kervinen accepted with that extra bit of money thrown his way. We have $23 million in cap space. I will let Donskoy and Lamico go. I'm not even going to release them. I'll just wait until we hit the final day. So those 2 will walk for the moment. And again, in terms of anything loyalty-wise, I think the main question is whether or not we spin for RFAs, which, I mean, we could hold off. I think that would probably be the popular vote. Oh my God. All 3 of them. Laine, Aho, Risto. They are all there. Jesus. Goaltending-wise, we don't have anybody. Aside from bringing back Ranta, which I wouldn't because I'd be too afraid of him falling off. In terms of over... Oh my god. The goalie we sent to Vegas was unsigned. Alright, well, I'll just throw my name into the hat on that one alongside everybody else under the sun. Okay. This could be a very interesting offseason for us. So, we'll have to play it a little bit slow and steady as far as getting everything set up. Make sure we don't make any dumb mistakes and be good to go. Ville Husso is the goaltender that I am most likely to sign here. We could also re-sign Vieni Vehviläinen. So I'm going to send a deal to Husso at the very least. He's more of a safe bet to not completely fall off a cliff in terms of overall. And I'll also send Vieni Vehviläinen a deal, even though he's a little bit more expensive than I would care to pay for, but that's okay, because hopefully we get ourselves a goalie prospect. Defensively, I mean, obviously, there's a certain name here who may have been on this team before that could make this offseason very interesting. Hell, Juuso Valimaki is there, although he's capped out in terms of overall. Right, and then, two guys named Laine and Aho, whoever the hell they are. Who is this guy? Who let go of him? Detroit. What are you doing, Detroit? I just helped you out with all those picks. What are you doing? I guess you're going to need them. Kasperi Kapanen's also a free agent. Good lord. Okay. Let's take a look at the old money situation, shall we? Shall we? I think we shall. We have a decent amount of money. We're listed as a rebuilder. I can't help but think that's mainly due to the goaltending situation. Defensively, kind of regret giving Kervinen $5 million now, but it's not that big of a deal. Heinola's on 3. There's really not a ton of cap we can clear from the defense. Offensively, though, certain Teo Teravainen's taken up a little bit more than prefer him to. The funny thing is, we do not need Aho, and we do not need Laine, but it could make things very, very interesting. And just completely over the top if we were to go for them. The bigger need right now is to bring back Risto. However, when silly season presents itself, then damn it, you go over the top and you see just how crazily you can build up a team. So let me check forward prospects here, because did I check defensive prospects? I did not. You might be Finnish. Hello. Okay, that could be a decent little AHL depth signing for us. 4th round pick of me. Did I trade him? I must have. I don't even recognize him. That's okay, don't worry about it. He's not that good. And of course, Valimaki's there. So obviously, we're going to go for Ristolainen. If Valimaki's still there, he's a decent silver medal, and Ruplavainen could be a decent bronze. Decent is a generous word. Ristolainen, how would you, sir, like to make a bunch of money? You're not really worth the risk in terms of having to keep you for 7 years in terms of the wheel spin, but that would get the price down. And actually, let me double check. How low was that price? So technically, I could probably get him at like 6 mil, right? Hit back too far, that's fine. We're a little bit frazzled right now because there's a lot on the line. There's a lot on the line. Speaking of lines, we have line A. It's going to cost between like 10.5 and 11 million to get Patrick Laine. Sebastian Aho, it's going to be about 9. So that's about 20 million bucks between those two. I don't know if we'd be able to bring back Ristolainen, though. That's where it would be a little bit problematic. Would I even want to bring back Kasperi Kapanen? Or not even bring in? And apparently not. He has been pretty poor. I mean, he's like a meh third liner. However, we don't know how good the team is that he's been playing on. He could be a decent third liner, but How crazy do we go with this? And again, I know Sidhu has that type of name, but we've seen him before. We saw him when he was drafted. He's American. So between, my God, there's some decent players that have hit the open market this year. I mean, for the big names, it's definitely Aho, Laine, and Kasperi Kapanen. I don't think I'd want to bring in Kapanen for that much money, but he could be an interesting one. Granlund is also available as well. Erik Haula is also available. So in terms of bumping up the overall team depth, that option is definitely there. But how many opportunities are we going to have at getting a Patrik Laine or Sebastian Aho onto this team? It's just a question of, do I move anybody that I can to try and make this happen? I don't necessarily want to move Kervinen's $5 million, because he could get better and is a half-decent offensive defenseman. I mean, 26 to 30 points. It's not bad. And, of course, I paid him a little bit extra to get his asking price down. Heinola's at 3.5. He's not a great point-producing defenseman, even though the puck skills and offensive awareness aren't too bad. He just doesn't have a good shot. But those are the only two, outside of Nokalainen, our original draft pick, that we could look to shed a little bit of cap from. 12 points for $2 million a season. He's well-rounded. I mean, with those attributes, you don't expect him to put up a ton of points. But there's really not many opportunities we have in terms of a cost-cutting measure. We're not allowed to trade Mikko Rantanen. That hasn't stopped me before, though. We're not allowed to trade Mikko Rantanen. We're not allowed to trade Teuvo Teravainen, and we're not allowed to trade Bjorkqvist, which sucks because he's 1 year left. It would be more likely that I flip. I mean, you would think Lehkonen at the very least. I mean, he's pretty much the only guy that we could look to move, and of course we wouldn't move him to try and sign a Kasperi Kapanen. He is our Kasperi Kapanen. If we look at our forwards, that is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We need 2 more forwards. It's just, do I want to try and bring in the 2 big forwards, or do we bring in just a little bit better team depth? Those 2 big forwards make things interesting. Our defense isn't that bad without Ristolainen. Obviously, it could be a little bit better. You know what? I think we shoot our shot. We go for Laine. We go for Aho. If we miss out on one, that still leaves us options. Screw it. We're going for it. Patrik Laine. Let's actually. How have you done point-wise? How have you done? Yeah. I think I'm good to sign someone who's had a 90-point season. I think I'm good for that. 27 years old. I think we just go ahead and offer him 11/7. And, of course, we'll be spinning the wheel for him. And for Sebastian Aho, I mean, he's been capable of putting up 70 points. We don't know how bad the team is that he's been on, and he'd be on an offensive juggernaut of a squad. Let's go 9/7. Not as much. $20 million between those 2 players. We are becoming the Minnesota Wild. Let's see if that works. Not to mention with the other players that we've sent deals to, this could be interesting. We'll advance until we find out, and we'll adjust our strategy accordingly. Hakkarainen has rejected. That's a huge signing for the Coyotes. Ville Husso has signed. Pettinen has signed. Vehviläinen has signed. Here we go. Patrik Laine and Sebastian Aho. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Which means it's time for everybody's favorite game show. Spin that damn wheel. So both of them were signed to, oh God, 7-year deals, right? Right, here, we'll double up. We will double up. All right, we're good. Actually, hold on. Yep, okay, we're good. So we will double up. We will have a 0 on the wheel. Now, in the Hurricane series, we've had it set now so that if it's a bigger deal, we have to at least have some sort of no movement or whatever. In this one, though, we're keeping it simple. It could be a 0, and we could get away with it. This is the spin for Patrik Laine. How long do we have to stay loyal to one Patrik Laine? The answer is 6 out of 7 years. How long do we have to stay loyal to Sebastian Aho? Oh boy, so 6 years we have to stay loyal to Laine. We do not have to stay loyal to Sebastian Aho, though. All in all, I will take that. That is not a bad bit of business for us. So again, for the next 6 years, Patrik Laine will be here, but we could immediately move Sebastian Aho if we so desired. I do not think I will move him right now. That might be just a tad bit cheap, although, damn it, it would be fun. However, we need to sign at least one more goaltender. And obviously, we have to hope that Laxo goes up in overall. The goaltending is going to be an extreme weakness. And I'm so tempted to move out a little bit of cap to try and bring in Rasmus Ristolainen if he is still there. But, oh, Jesus Christ, that top 6, that top 7, that might be overkill. That might be overkill. But the ability to move Aho is crucial. Absolutely crucial. Unfortunately, Ristolainen is no longer available. Kapanen and Valimaki both are. I might throw my name into the hat on that front, try to get them for relatively cheap one-year deals. I do want to see where Risto ended up. Fortunately, it's not going to tell me right on the main news page. That's okay. For signings, Ristolainen goes to Detroit on a 4-year contract, but we get Aho and Laine on 7-year deals each. We have to stay loyal to Laine until there is 1 year left in his contract. So, Rantanen, Teravainen, and Laine, get ready. They're going to be here for a while. Now, again, the question over whether or not I throw out an offer for some of these other guys, I think I might keep an eye out just to see if we can get them on slightly cheaper deals, because obviously money-wise right now it's just a little bit tight. Ranta could be interesting, because if it's not him, it's going to be a Makaniemi. So you know what, we might as well sign Ranta for 1 year. I'm not even going to worry about spinning a wheel, because that's irrelevant. He's going to have no trade value whatsoever because of his age, so there's no real risk of me flipping him. So we'll move forward until he commits, which hopefully he does. There we go. Ranta, welcome back. So as it stands, I think we're good. Let's double check the numbers that we have on roster right now and see what we're dealing with. So goaltending-wise, of course, we are set with our main 4. No idea who plays where at this point. That depends on off-season development. The defense, we have our 6 there, and then down the AHL is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 again. So we're good on that front with injuries not being on in this series, if I am remembering correctly. And then offensively, we have our 9, 10, 11, and 12 with Louis. And then 1, 2, well, actually, here, let's just go down again. So that's 9 in the AHL, 10, 11, no. All right, so we need 2 more forwards, at least. About $3 million to spend. So the only way we're going to get somebody half decent is if we wait a little bit into free agency. So let's go to August 1st and see if there's any holdovers like a Granlund or a Holla whose asking prices have dropped. All in all, this offseason's worked out relatively well for us, which is shocking. I mean, again, at the very least, you think of the punishment that I kind of implemented for myself as far as getting rid of those draft picks and not being able to trade down. You know, we've rebounded well now with the ability to immediately trade Sebastian Aho. So that's nice. Let's see who else is here as a free agent still before we get to the start of next season. And forward-wise, it's a little bit barren, so pretty much everybody did end up signing. As far as who we have here, we need some Finns, man. I guess Koivula will be coming back. He's still looking for too much, man. You are overhyping yourself. However, I need you, so I'll give you that. And do we have anybody else? I believe I only needed one more guy. Shugihara? Canadian. You never know with that particular name. We need one other Finn. Might sign 2 to play it safe. You are definitely finished, but this is off of asking price and not overall, so that's a pretty big issue. Pretty big problem. Let's go for, I guess, Lammy Go. Why not? Oh, look at that. All of a sudden, you're not asking for much. What happened, buddy? It's almost like you should have just stayed here to begin with and not spent the offseason in limbo. I don't want to sign anybody else. Are there any other 79 guys? Backlund, of course, is not going to count. Luka, Killorn. I don't think we have anybody else here in terms of like a half-decent option. Could bring back Patrick Virta, and you know what? I will. And with that, we're pretty much good to go. We still, somehow, some way, have cap space, which is shocking, all things considered, with the contracts that we just signed. Everybody that we just sent an offer out to is there. But it's gonna be interesting to see what this roster's looking like. There have been some questionable choices on my part. Of course, the downward spiral begins with me making that mistake with Tavo. We start off this episode by having, again, the most liked comments for the most part saying, hey, don't worry about it, everyone gets a mistake. We still try to, make things right by reacquiring Teravainen and also just throwing away draft picks for the hell of it. And then we end up signing Sebastian Aho and Patrick Laine. So you want an interesting offseason, do you? Goodness gracious. Thank God this isn't Hurricane style with only being able to play players and then their player roles, because otherwise, my goodness, we'd have to change quite a bit. We have no unsigned prospects whatsoever, by the way, which is simply outrageous. Let's see what this team is shaping up to be, though, shall we? So the goaltenders. It is going to be Laakso, maybe. I don't think I'm going to start with Laakso in the NHL. He's our best goaltender, but I'm thinking maybe a season in the AHL. One more might not be that bad for him. I don't want to rush him unless we absolutely have to. So I think I'm going to go with Husso and Ranta. I don't want to rush him if he's still a backup. So our goaltending could be a real sore spot for us this season. The defense is pretty straightforward. No real surprise there. Markus Niemelainen will be sent down. That will be our 6. So the AHL defense is still looking pretty damn good. And then forward-wise, that is 10, 11, and 12 with Luhi. Koivula will be sent down, I'm sure, much to his chagrin. And that is what the AHL is going to look like. Although, Louis being a depth forward makes me wonder if he should start the season down in the AHL. That might not be the worst way to go. I don't want to rush everybody, and we have already signed him. Of course, he's good enough to play in the AHL. I might start him down in the minors. And if he's tearing it up, then we call him up. Pretty straightforward. So if we go best lines, I mean, the top 6 is fairly obvious, but good Lord. Good Lord, this team at this point. Is this overkill? I feel like this is overkill. My God. Lambert has 99 offensive awareness, by the way. Imagine dealing with that top 6 on a power play. I mean, come on. I guess it's just the question of who plays where, right? Like, I'm not too worried about handedness, but it's like Laine, 95 offensive awareness. Aho at a 94. Should probably be a playmaker over a two-way. We might change up some player types. Lambert could be a playmaker or a sniper. Doesn't really matter. Rantanen should definitely be a sniper as he is. Simon Taval as a two-way is still fine. Again, if you believe in the whole trying to find balance thing, which I have found works relatively well, any combination of that top 6 is fine. That third line, oh my God, I just noticed Lidman's on the 4th line. Is that going to be the best for his development? Maybe, because, I mean, we kind of rushed Kiprusoff to playing on the 3rd line, or the 2nd line last year, and that didn't really work out. So, I mean, maybe if we keep it simple, we have Kipper, Teravainen, and Kasper Bjorkqvist, which is not a bad setup at all. And a 4th line of Koivula, Ludman, and Lehkonen. I mean, that's a look at the center depth, too. I mean, Ludman's not even a center, but of course he has 79 faceoffs as a left wing, because that desperately needs to change if we're not going to have secondary positions, where, of course, in real life, someone can be a left wing, we could also play center. It needs to change. And the fact that Ludman generated with a higher faceoff rating than some centers that's pretty screwed. But any combination could work here. Defensively, of course, it is not the strongest, but I think we could survive it. It's just, can that defense and goaltending hold out while the offense does its thing? Because that offense is outrageous. Again, we do not have the right to trade Rantanen. We do not have the right to trade Laine for a decent amount of time. Bjorkqvist's deal expires at the end of the year, so that'll be $3.5 million off the books. The good thing is we will have some money, coming off the books at the end of the season. Bjorkqvist, Lehkonen, that if we have to re-sign people, which I believe we do, we will be able to survive it. Indeed, Kapokako is going to need a new contract. So we're still looking ahead, at least a little bit. Kiprusoff's deal will be up in 2 seasons. But yeah, that roster is simply outrageous. And then in the AHL, Luhi's going to be surrounded by some pretty good talent. I think we start Jukka Laakso down there just to see how he does. Top to bottom, the organization's looking pretty damn good. We are listed as contenders, which I feel like is relatively fair. I do want to see what our pretty much meaningless overall ratings are in terms of offense, defense, and goaltending, because it doesn't really mean all that much. But let's see what we got here in terms of ratings. I think I am going to stop it before we begin this next season, just to have you guys, my God, 100 offense, just to have you guys be able to have your input as far as what this team is shaping up to look like for this year, what the line combo should be, whether or not certain people should start in the AHL or not. And of course, in terms of moves that could be made, we do have the abilities, or the ability, to trade numerous players if we have to. And we do still have draft picks this year, only 1 extra selection. No, 2 extra. I stand corrected. We have a Philly 4th and actually 2 extra 7ths instead of just 1. So moving forward, we don't have as many draft pick assets, but we're still looking okay. I don't know how to feel about this episode at this point, so I'm going to end things here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Next episode, we begin the next season, 2025, 2026. What lies in store for this team? Who the hell knows?